All right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning in to another episode of TLOY Talks podcast. You can get this on platforms Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Patreon, much more. Definitely check out Patreon when you can too with the tiers that we have. But yo, I'm just gonna get it like started right here and all that, So we have some amazing gentlemen in the building too that have released their own like EP and all that. The collaborative EP, The Adventures of Kuya Bunso. They've been making music for a while too. One of them dating back into like the early 2010s, through producing, through art, through songwriting, through much more, and another through fashion and through creativity. They performed all over. One is also expected to open up for Stove God Cooks and Don Q on the last Sunday of the month and all that too. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have KufisWorld and lowk3y in the building. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. Thank you for having us.
Thank
we
you, man.
appreciate it. I actually fuck with your show, so it's dope to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, and like, even like tapping in with the music too, because I know you've been like making like waves like a lot too with a lot of the podcast stuff and even with music too. So it's been up from there and all that too, because you've had what DMTV recently too. You did, I think, Toronto like rap stars like a while back too. So making waves right there, So
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Just dropped out with Up Right Now.
Yeah, that was fun. DMTV Up Right Now.
Yeah, man. And I know you were supposed to perform like open up for Dave East, like I think in Montreal some weeks back. So I think something might have happened, but
Yeah, so I was supposed to perform for open for Davies. I love Montreal. First of all, I really love Montreal. And I was excited to get back out there. I have a little bit of a situation, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to leave the province. And so naturally, I wasn't able to do that show. But just now, I'll be back out in Montreal. Like I'm really pushing to get out there soon.
All right.
So
all right, proper. I do definitely want to get into your stories for a bit too. So, Koof, you grew up in Markham, Scarborough, and Saga. So, what was that like for you, like growing up, like in that area and all that?
Like honestly, I didn't really grow up in Scarborough as such. I lived in Scarborough for a bit, lived in Vernon for a little bit, but I really grew up more like Markham. Um, I spent a lot of time in I don't know if you guys know, it's actually not too far from here, a little spot called the Willow Tree. I lived out there for a bit with my grandma there. I stayed out there with my grandma there and my cousin, whatever. But really, I was in Markham, and the east, like Durham. Like I was in Durham for a little bit, and then I was in Saga for a bit.
But I'm guessing that the childhood was like pretty like blessed growing up and all that, right?
It was pretty blessed, pretty interesting. Like my family are very both my parents are reverts to Islam, so they're both very deep on their deen, And so growing up, I kind of like I didn't go to regular school and all that for the first little bit. I went to like Quran school and shit like that when I was young.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But I had like my parents were both my dad was in school when I was growing up. And my uncle, his brother, was a rapper.
Okay.
Right? So I grew up between like my dad, watching my dad study and watching my uncle rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
And seeing both different paths and like what,
yeah.
type shit like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And lowk3y, we actually talked about like a little bit earlier too, but you grew up in a very unique place and all that too. So tell me more about growing up there and like what the childhood was like and all that.
I was actually born in the Middle East, but I grew up in the Philippines like half my life. And when I got to Canada, most of my life I spent in Toronto and Brampton. So
okay, cool. And the places that you guys grew up, were they kind of big like musically at the time, like growing up as like communities, or was it more like ends like at the time too? Like I know like the Philippines, like they're very big on music too, and like Scarborough.
Yeah. Philippines is big on music. Like it's part of like our culture and like even the school, the things that we do in school. So we do a lot of talent shows. A lot. Yeah, we do that in public schools and private schools. So and dancing and singing and performing in bands, like that's a normal thing for us. So when I got here, I already liked that. I had that like in my circle of things that I do in my life. So
okay, cool. And I don't know, but you, Kufi, like you've noticed like music in Toronto, like I mean through your uncle and through like uncles, right?
Yeah. I feel like where I grew up in Markham wasn't like, bro, it was like my house was by the basketball court, you know? So I don't know about everybody else in the neighborhood, but the basketball court is always like the center of your ends, like where it's like everything is turned up there. So everybody blasting music out like right by my house, you know what I'm saying? Always in my house. And my dad's ends, so where my uncle and them used to live, they had it was even more musical. Like there's another artist, a big dancehall artist out of here, old school dancehall artist named Trinity Chris. Trinity Chris is from the same ends as my grandmother and my uncle. So that ends would be a lot of like dancehall music. That's where my uncle that I showed me how to rap like when I was young and got this idea in my head that I could rap. You
Yeah.
know,
See, dancehall music is big. Like when
like
I was in Brampton,
yeah, dancehall
yeah,
music is a big thing. It's also
in the
like
West End.
I'm Trini and Jamaican.
Okay, cool.
So like it's a massive part of like both all of my culture, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
pretty much like revolved like around the household. You've noticed that from music videos, through TV, through your, like the mandem, like rapping and all that too. So
For
like
sure.
pretty much, you know.
For sure. And I didn't see the thing is largely like I've kind of like grew up feeling like I need to uh create culture because like I'm Caribbean Muslim, like you know what I'm saying? Like and a lot of uh, like our traditions is like it's different
Yeah.
because of like the transition that my parents made, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm fortunate for. And then growing up in this GTA, like my ends didn't have a big rapper. Like all to this day, I gotta be I must 100% be the biggest rapper out of Markham.
Markham, yeah.
100,000%. So it's like growing up, seeing that, I'm like, and then going from where I'm at to like my grandmother's, where my uncle's at on a frequent, you feel me? I'm seeing like the difference where they're like, bro, they actually, this is all like way back when these guys actually had MCs, all Dream Warriors and all of them, all of those guys used to be up there, you feel me? So it's like, I'm seeing that and I'm like, okay, cool. Other people would pop through from other ends. Mans from like Point Blank would pop up through our area and shit like that in Markham. Different people would pop through.
Yeah.
But like there's no notable rapper from
Yeah.
my end. So that was something that was like a big deal to me growing up and all the time, all now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like the uncle that I know you talked about for a bit too. So you grew up as like the nephew of Sean Merrick, who also goes by like Uncle HEV. He works with like a lot of like big artists like back in the day too. And I'll probably like list it like in a bit too. But like, what was that like life like? You know, and interacting with him, and him being like very pivotal like in the '90s and 2000s and all that.
Listen, your investigative skills are insane. Yo, actually, no word of a lie. I told low key of the questions, and he said, yeah, bro, gotta be careful. Sometimes these guys work with the police. I said, yo, I said, this guy knows my uncle's Guffy. He said, yeah, be careful. I said, no, I think he just looked it up. Oh my God, bro, you're good, bro. This guy's Nardwar of Toronto, bro.
Nardwar
This
doing
guy,
that,
bro.
yeah.
That's crazy. Bro, run back the question again. You just boggled my mind.
So you, because I've heard it from my finger, one of the interviews that, I mean, your uncle was like HTV and all that, and he worked with like a lot of people too, like Ike Turner, Rick James, Roger Troutman, Bootsy Collins, Ohio Players, Brides of like Frankenstein and all that too. And I think he did some like features for like Cool Keith, Chili, like Chill and all that, and well, like Analog Brothers, yeah, a lot of people. So I guess that was like an interesting time, like you know, witnessing him like blow up, like throughout, you know, growing up and all that. You know,
Bro, when I was a little kid, I remember hearing wild stories of my uncle and like rappers that I knew, you know? Like stories with my uncle Ice-T, stories with my uncle and Snoop Dogg and shit like that. I'm like,
Uncle Ice-T.
shit's wild, you know? And for sure it was inspiring to me. He gave me my first beat CD. You know what I'm saying? He's a really interesting guy, like really strange, like to Toronto, like if you're not like used to seeing this is why the media outlets are so critically important, because if you don't see this shit like yourself, then you don't even know that it's there. Like, I know because he's my uncle. The man used to walk around with perms and like crocodile shoes and crazy shit like that. We're talking about late 90s and early 2000s. Like, this is how my childhood, like how I seen it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like for sure, I think it was definitely like influence. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, man.
For sure.
Sure, and like as far as like your crafts and all that too, because you guys are like very multidisciplined in like a lot of stuff too. So how did you guys like get into it, like specifically with like rapping, producing, creating art, like fashion, and even like songwriting as well too? Because I mean, a lot of you have like a lot of like talents,
Like he said, like creating is just a part of something that we do. Like since I was young, like I was creating a lot of like physical art pieces, like paintings, sculptures, and like when I came to
Do you want to
Canada,
move the mic a little bit? Like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
when I came to Canada is when I got more into the music. So like he's saying I lived in Brampton, so I was actually there was a lot of Caribbean culture over there. So I don't know if you remember the jams, you know? So that was popping. There was a lot of like Vibes Cartel.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into like making music. I was in my mom's basement. I was actually rapping with my dog Denzel, like Roy Woods at that time. So you know what I'm saying? And from that point on, I just started making clothes, doing whatever I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And then I follow everything, follow my dream, and I just got here now. You know,
All right, bless.
Brought me here
How
now.
about you, man?
I feel like I just try shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for real, I just try shit. Like, I said, like, my uncle really put a bat in my back with the rapping shit, because he literally, like, this guy pulled me aside and he was like, yo, can you read? And I was like, yeah, I can read. I was young, you know? And he's like, okay, cool, read this magazine to me. I started reading the magazine, and he's like, okay, rap the magazine to me. I'm like, you can rap the magazine. So he raps the magazine, he's just reading the words, he's just rapping it. Like, you know, just making rhythms and rhymes out of it, making flow. I'm like, okay. He's like, try it. So I did. I'm like, mind you, I'm like a kid, like a little kid. So we would just play games and shit like that when I was growing up. And then probably like, I'm like 7th grade, he just throws me a beat CD. I didn't really tell anybody. Like, it's just he and I know.
Threw you a beat pack.
He gave me, basically he gave me a beat pack on a CD. I didn't tell anybody. I just took the beat CD and put it in my CD player. I'm rapping in my head, like. But I was like, I was a weird kid, fam. I was a really weird kid. Like like I said, I didn't go to regular school and shit, you know. So I was like homeschooled and shit for a bit. It was weird. Like, I was a super nerd, and I would get in bare fights, bro. Like, I was just like a smart, interesting kid. I'd just be interested in all types of shit. And then, like, you know, I would everybody knew that, like, I didn't go to school or regular, like, things like that in my neighborhood. So there would be, you know, I would only have friends on the block. And we don't go to regular school. I don't go to school. So I'm outside more than everybody else. So I know everybody from just being outside, because I would constantly be outside as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And then as we got older, people would randomly be rapping. And I'm always outside. So I'm
You're
I'm
outside,
rapping
like,
too.
Niggas
Didn't know I've been
Yeah.
rapping. I've been rapping. So I
Yeah.
start rapping, and they're like, oh, you're kind of cold. Like, washing, man. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, sure, man.
You know what I'm
When
saying?
you start producing,
I started producing after, because I needed beats. I started producing because, like,
then
I was running with
yes.
some niggas, and I was in the. Okay, so Durham was not like how it is now. Durham was literally OT. Like, Durham was OT. You know what I'm saying? So I'm Durham these times. I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm OT. I must run this. Like, I must run it. And I link up with a bunch of other niggas who were probably thinking the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? And we end up, bro, just clashing with different people and nonsense, kid shit. We're clashing, beefing with different mans out there, trying to see who runs it, you know? And so we start dissing each other. Like, everybody's making diss tracks, this crew to this crew, classic regular shit. But those times, it's like before YouTube was jumping like that. It was not like YouTube beats, millions of beats are getting loaded up every day. It wasn't like that. So it was harder to find, and every man is dissing each other on the same damn beats. Like, it just stopped making sense to me. So I said, yo, do we have like, say there's 20 man in the crew, there's 20 fucking rappers in the crew.
Yeah.
I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm like, man, I'm going to make beats. And as I started making beats, as I started like trying to learn how to make beats, it's a whole other story I'm not even going to get into. But as I started actually, like, as soon as I figured out like how to make a little loop, I got so obsessed with making beats, with learning how to make beats sick. I got so fucking obsessed with it that I stopped going outside. Like, I wouldn't be outside. I can't be outside because my computer's inside and I need to learn how to make beats. So we can diss these other niggas. It was my first first intention was like, we need better beats. It's like, you know, like, bro, we can't do this.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, I'm never outside. I'm not rocking with the man. I'm like that. Like, I'm not dissing my niggas or nothing. I'm just not around. And my whole life starts changing. You know what I'm saying? In a positive way. Like, literally, my life just went, I'm like, okay. So now I'm locked in on the beats. Like, that's how I got literally, like, I almost forgot I was rapping for a second. Because, like, I was still rapping, but, like, it was so about the beats for a minute. And then, you know, I didn't have a lawyer for the beats thing.
You're a multi-platinum
So, not multi, but, you know, I'm like, bro, I'm getting scraped on the royalties and shit. I'm getting scraped consistently. You know, and I was scared. Like, anytime somebody bring me a contract, I'd be terrified because, bro, I got scraped so many times, bro. I get checks from companies niggas know, like, from labels niggas who would want to sign to. I get checks from to this day that I just ball up on.
Yeah. Because
they're so boof. The checks are so baby food. Like, it's not even worth, like, brother, it's not even worth the weed I'm smoking.
Too much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that to me was like, you know what, man? I actually just love music, and I actually just love creating this shit. And every time I wanted to make something, I just tried and I got better at it. And if I wasn't already good at it, I just worked at it and it got better. And so I'm like, you know what? I would like to maybe work with other people in a capacity that doesn't allow that, like, I want to bring more love than pain, you know? So, like, if I can help develop artists in a way that they can, you know what I'm saying, you know, get to the next level without getting fucked over, then I would love to be there for that process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause that little stage between where you're not so sick and then you get sick and then it's like that could kill your spirit right there. The next step between, like, you're actually sick and people pay you for it, that they might do you super dirty before that. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah not, but, like, it happens a lot. You know, and it kind of happened to me. So
I know what you mean, man. Even, like, you know, being in the studio for the first time, like, what was that experience like? You know, being in the studio and just the experience, you know, being there, seeing like what it's like, and, like, just, like, being able to, like, record and all that. No,
being in the studio first time.
The first time. Yo, my first time recording is not my first time in the studio. Okay, my first time recording, bro, we don't even have headsets like this in here. Bro, I used to have, my dog had like a gaming headset and cracked the fucking mic off the front of it and put it in a plastic cup that his mother was, like, one of them tumblers and his mother would give juice in. And we put it on the windowsill and put some headphones on. Oh, I think we still had the gaming headphones with the broke off, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So boom, we put the headphones on and we put the cup on the windowsill and the mic is in the cup, and that's how we started rapping.
Okay.
That's how I started rapping. First track I ever did, it was like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Trench rap.
All right. How about you, man?
It was actually on a blue snowball mic.
Okay.
You know,
True.
that was the first time I started rapping, getting beats off of YouTube. You know, I was in my mom's basement in Brampton, and that was the first time. I was just trying stuff. Like you said, I would just try shit, and I would create, like, all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man. And Kufi, you've been immersed in the Toronto music scene for a while too, like since like the early 2010s, from the blog TO posts, from producing, from like everything else too. So tell me more about that experience, being in the scene at those times too, and like being like pivotal like at those times too, from producing to rapping and like seeing everything from then.
I think that was, for one, I'm appreciative of being around to have experienced some of that shit, because it one, it's something that I don't know why, but I kind of feel like I wish the city would get back to that energy. And just to know that it was actually real, it's like, bro, I know we can, and I feel like it's like I think the word is zeitgeist, where it's like you talk about a collective understanding where people like more, we're all like, people feel on the frequency that is more mutually understood. So like you'll get like a swath of artists that are like, they actually go together. You get like a
Yeah.
dope ass photographer. You get like, bro, there was dudes who were known for making dope fonts them times. Like, you understand how important that is? Like, there's all types of different artists. It's not just one. It wasn't just like boom the weekend by himself, or boom Drake by himself. Drake and those guys are a bit older, so I didn't quite see that
Yeah.
come together. But seeing how this shit played out with like the weekend, like from Get Home Safe to Jazz and 88 Glam and whatever, like watching how it came together and everybody understanding like actually what the mission was, it's totally different. Even the development with like Sean Leon, IXXI, Daniel Caesar, bare different artists. And it's man, I just try not to cuss, but it's fucked
Yeah.
up. It's fucked up that we've gone to this like, where's the love for artists like Savannah? Okay, like boom, Savannah Ray gets love, got love. She's from that time. What the fuck about artists like Adria Kane, where it's like they get love, but Toronto media outlets are not giving the same energy to that as they are towards like, I don't know, a young rapper that's on the run for three bodies. Like, brother, like, no diss to anybody. I want everybody to win.
Yeah.
But like, for us to dedicate 99% of the media attention towards the shit that doesn't creatively elevate us,
Yeah.
ends up being a sinkhole in our economy, because it's literally like uninvestable art in some capacity. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We would collectively get more return. It's an easier transition for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For everybody to actually get on
Yeah.
board these teams and make something of value.
Pretty
You know
much,
what I'm saying?
yeah. Do you feel like the radio and like even like the DJs like are to blame for that too? Because I know recently I saw this post where this shorty called out this DJ like Specs the Boss and all that too for just like taking up too much space in like radio time and like not like effectively like putting on like to, like new artists and stuff like that too. So, but it could be for like any DJ or any radio that's like not putting
Yo,
out.
I'm fending for Specs. First of all, I'm fending for Specs the Boss. He's a sick guy. I love Specs. But I will say that, and granted, Specs is from a different generation as well. Okay, I just said I used to work with Red at G98.7 years ago. I was a YN in the studio with Red, and that's how I know Specs in the first place. And I saw Tory Lanez sending messages trying to get his records played on the radio before Say It, begging. I seen Tory in the DMs at G98.7 asking these niggas to play his records, like begging, and nobody was listening. I brought this to the program director, talking about, yo, he's doing numbers in the States. These times, not like early. This is like after what's that guy's name? Kurt,
Kirk Diamond or something like that too.
no, not Kurt Cobain. Fuck, bro. I think he's from Texas. Tory had a record.
Kirk Bangs or
Kurt Cobain's.
yeah.
Kurt Cobain's. Bro, he had the Kurt Cobain's record already going crazy. I'm like, bro, at this time, nobody in Toronto's doing nothing like this. And they weren't showing Tory no love, bro. Like, we gotta, like, I think that because of where the internet has elevated to, it's created like a more delusional haze over the reach that our culture has. And so we sit in this bubble believing that we're like actually going somewhere in the world, like our influence is greater than it actually is. And like it doesn't quite work like that, you know? And I feel like before people may have known that. And it's also, this only hit me recently. I feel like a huge difference is the fact that Vice used to be here and used to be a thing and is no longer here. We don't have a major media outlet like a major one that would kind of like curate the
Yeah.
tone of what
Or
is a
like a
thing.
complex or anything like that too. There used
There's
to be
no curation.
Yeah, there used to be some stuff like that too. I like even like right now with like Flow 98.72, like they're playing like the new artists too, but I don't think it's like enough where what Ricochet did like on the air and all that, where like he was like playing like a new mix like every other Monday, every other
Ricochet's
Tuesday.
a guy. I feel like a lot of the DJs don't understand their power and are how do I put this? They are abdicating their power to Spotify playlists. And the playlist thing used to, I don't know what's wrong with the playlisting. I know people still make the playlist, but I feel like a lot of the playlisting is now even algorithmic.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, even the playlisting isn't what it used to be. But it's like to allow ourselves to succumb to like tech instead of like doing the art as it's supposed to be the
Yeah.
entire way through, like curate it. It's like we it's kind of I wouldn't put blame on anybody but ourselves.
Yeah.
You feel me? I don't believe in that. I don't think that's a thing. If we want to build healthier experiences in our communities, and it's our responsibility to take that undertaking and go through with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't feel no type of way to reach out to. I'll reach out to blogs that I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? I'll reach out to platforms that I fuck with because like I told you earlier, I reached out to Friday Ricky. I wanted to talk to him for real. You feel me? Not on some bullshit. Like I have something to say to you. You know what I'm saying? And I reached out to you because like what the fuck? I like what you're doing. You feel me?
Yeah.
I like the tone, and I was pleasantly surprised by the diligence you take towards the art and the artist. Like that's the shit that we need. We need actual
Like,
intention.
yeah.
It's nothing more than intention. And what are we intending to build? Like, are we intending to if my intention is for my community to go viral every day, then it doesn't matter if I'm talking about foolishness or not. But if I'm intending to uplift, to build, to enlighten, to make this shit matter, to make this shit last, then it matters.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then, like, I mean, even like like just like getting back onto like like a new topic and all that too. You even like went from like an Omari Jabari from one point to KufisWorld. So, what was that inspiration and backstory behind those names, and like even like the reason for those like transitions in a way,
Omari Jabari is my government name. It's my real name. And I kind of like, okay, see, I was telling you that story how like beats got me to stay inside. Kind of when COVID hit and the studio shut down, I kind of got like, I was like, fuck, bro. I was tired of feeling like there was an opportunity here, and I was tired of being stuck, and I was tired of the feeling that like nobody gave a fuck about none of the music except for the violence and the fuckery. And I said, you know what? Honestly, like niggas was playing games, like trying to act dumb with paying for beats and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, like you guys are actually playing me for an idiot because like what you don't understand is that the music is what got me away from the fuckery, bro. Like I don't even say stupid shit on the podcast, but like I'm not brand new to anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? I went back that direction. You know, I'm like, there's no more room for it anymore. Maybe I was just heartbroken about it. You know? And I said, I don't give a fuck. And that took a different direction. And I think that it opened my eyes up to maybe a freedom in creation where one, I do believe that there's like our responsibility to build, and there's immense independent opportunity there. But I also feel like culture is for culture's sake. You know what I'm saying? Art is for art's sake. And any of the blessings and gifts that come with that, alhamdulillah.
All right, for sure, man. And low key, how did you get your name?
Um,
Holy.
how to get my name, actually? To be honest, I used to have a store called Low Key Cartel. Like, that was one of my resale stores that I had like 4 years for 4 years before I started making music. So I thought low key was a cool name because I just was keeping it low key and doing my own thing.
All right, proper.
Yo, I totally missed the fucking point of the question, dog.
Like, because like I know like when you went from like Omari
I didn't want to
Jabari.
use my government name.
Yeah, no worries. But like now you moved to KufisWorld
Yeah.
lowk3y.
Yeah.
I didn't want to use my government name, and then I stopped wanting to associate like online with it. But I took my kufi off, like, which is the little hat.
Yeah.
I used to wear a kufi everywhere, like every day. When I started going to public school, I wear a kufi to school, and I took it off. And as an adult, and as like in a way to shield my identity, I also felt like I should put it back on.
Okay.
But not in a literal capacity, more in like a metaphoric way.
All right.
So Kufi, you feel me?
Proper name and all that too, you know, and even like the way you guys like linked up, like how did you like guys like link up, and like how's it like, like working with each other and like getting to like learn from each other, like in a way, you know?
Yeah. He actually told me to come over there and go. He's like, yo, what are you doing over there? You should come over here, bro.
Yo, you know what? I met this guy. There's a brand in the city, a super dope streetwear brand that low-key was designing for, working with. So I met him at Prescribed Shelter.
We were in Yorkville.
Right? He was in Yorkville at Prescribed Shelter. I had to go over there and deal with something, whatever. I was doing something over there. And we have a mutual friend, Lone, from who runs Prescribed Shelter. I met him in that capacity.
Okay.
He had just started rapping, I think, around then.
Yeah.
Right? He just started like putting music out. I think he had a song, one or two.
One song. I just came back from
with
LA.
a green cover, right?
Yeah.
He had one song out. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Noted. Right? Boom, time goes by. And we started up Family First, F1. And one of my dogs was like, bro, you need to draw for low key. I'm like, yeah. Then another one was like, yo, you need to draw for low key. So a couple man said it to me. And I'm like, okay, let me check out this guy low key. Because I already remember him and I thought he was cool. I fuck with him. Boom, we chop it up. And at the time, he was making music with another group. I'm not gonna say. He was making music with a different collective that I knew. I know the guys. But they were on a different timing. Like, I just didn't think they were serious, you know? And I think he's more serious. Sorry about that. I think he's more serious. And I didn't know a whole lot about him at the time. So I'm like, let's chop it up. Let's see whatever. As we connected, I was like, yeah, I really fuck with his vibe and his dedication, his discipline, his hustle. I fuck with all of that. You know what I'm saying? The things that I think matter more than like, I think the music is critically important. I think the art is critically important. But I think that it all stems from who you are as a person. And I think that that's an important thing that, like, with the artists that I want to fuck with, it has to be about like the energy that you carry. And I liked his energy. I posted something the other day about it was actually a photograph of us, and I said 5 tenets of Taekwondo. And one of the things that we connected on early is like we both did Taekwondo when we were young, you know? And it's certain martial arts is not about just like fighting and shit. It's like about like it's about the conduct. It's a way of life, you know? It's about the etiquette that you have, the understanding you have, the diligence you have, the discipline you carry, you know? And I fuck with him because he's that type of guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of locked in, and then the music shit was easy after that. Like,
yeah, because I know you had the EP like recently too, the Adventures of Kuya Bunso too. So tell me more about it in terms of the inspiration and like creative process, you know?
Yo. Okay. Okay. So basically, life is. I feel like we've had literally adventurous journeys. And man, we're both like at the time that we put the project together. Loki would pull up on me consistently when I was on house arrest. He would be on curfew and he would still pull up on me. You know, like a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And we'd cook up. We made most of all of these songs like that. You know, and I feel like it's like,
and some with Ox.
And yeah, with all of them with Ox too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the point is like really we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can in terms of creating positive things throughout all of life's journeys and challenges. And that is the adventure. They say that the journey, the point is not the destination, it's the journey. That's what the adventure is. You feel me? And it's like
the ups and the downs.
Yeah, and it's like Kuya Bunso is like the Filipino is Tagalog.
And big brother and younger brother. So.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So we just felt like it's on brand for our family first shit, and like it's kind of how our relationship is. You know what I'm saying? That's really my brother like that. So like, I felt like what a better way to say it, and keep it in
the family like in the way too.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna like even bring up the whole like family first thing. So how did that like start about too? Because I think you told me that like it started like way before like lowk3y and all that too. So was it more like you're trying to create like more like a family like base like label like in a way?
A couple of things. Like one, at a time it was a bunch of the mandem. We would all click up, but we'd all be kind of doing our separate things, you know. And I said that I didn't feel like that made sense. And a lot of us, I feel like a lot of people in general may feel mixed feelings towards even the word family. Like some people are excellent relationships with their families, and some people's relationships, a lot of people's relationships with their families are not like the most ideal, you know?
Yeah.
And in a capacity, I feel like as adults, we select our family. Like as you grow, as you mature, and you actually as you grow mature and you have autonomy in your own life, you pick the people that you be around, right?
Yeah.
That's how you shape your world. That's how you shape your own manifestations and so on.
Pretty much, yeah.
You select those frequencies, you select the characters that you're gonna interact with. All right, so boom. To me, that's like the family is a vessel that's outside of your own. Like,
yeah.
As soon as I'm beyond my own self, what do I invest in is my family. Like, and I wanted to like bring positivity to like our opinions of one another. I feel like one of the most beautiful things about being in the GTA in Toronto is our real life multiculturalism and the way that we actually like, bro, I have like all types of brothers and you know what I'm saying, all types of sisters, like for real, like all types of people that you really get to fuck with like in your family like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really know your mom and shit, like, you know, and I feel like it hurts that we highlight again. I hate that I'm going back to this point in the capacity. I hate that we highlight things that are not like as often as we can the truth about our beauty in the city. And one of the things that I wanted to bring to light was like that dynamic, the dynamic of brotherhood. It doesn't need to be about some negativity. I think that we love togetherness, like as human beings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
pretty much. So like pretty much like removing the whole like crab in the bucket mentality and even changing the direction where it's like more positive rather than seeing the negativity, like seeing the fuckery, like all that type of stuff.
Yeah, like bro, what do we like? Listen, what if I tell you, like, I think it's much more understanding for me to do, like, even if okay, boom, there's man that like there's Crash Out Road, and there's Family Values Road. Even, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. Like, bro, I have admiration for anybody that does what they need to do well for their family, bro. Real shit. Like, you do what you got to do to take care of your kids, alhamdulillah. You do what you got to do to take care of your dukes, alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? You doing what you want to do so that you can make yourself look like a guy to guys. Why for that? You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, I know what you mean. No, I want to dive deep quick on like one thing as well too. So how's like your mental health like nowadays and all that too? So like on a scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being like very well and 1 being like at your like lowest peak, like how would you like rate your mental health? Like currently.
Oh
In
fuck.
all honesty, like we actually made a track in our newest tape called Therapy. It's the last song of the project.
Yo, I think that words are so. I think that words are literally magic, and I am cautious about how I speak. Okay, if I'm gonna scale or grade my mental health, to be real, it definitely varies from moment to moment and day to day. But I think that because, bro, I think that I conjure my own reality. Like I don't allow myself to have I can't have poor mental health because I have control over it.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that it's not a thing that can inflict people in different ways, but I try and be as cautious as I can of the things that would afflict me with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm in a more cautious place, I don't really like. I used to have way worse mental health. I used to do a lot more. I used to abuse substances more. Nothing crazy, but like I Perkies, Molly, lean, whatever, all that shit. I'm not really on that. I'm more on a health thing now. I would like to go to the gym. Yeah, I have a little 1-2 drinks. You might catch me on a 1-2 drinks. You might catch me on a spliff. Yeah, but you're not gonna see me on no fuckery. Like nothing crazy. Just cause like again, like maybe it's my mentality shift in the words that we speak. Really, that we always talking about family. Like I have too many people to do well by to crash out. I can't allow myself to have mental health issues right now.
And I guess like dealing with it like in a way, it's like you're controlling it through being more religious and all that too, like focusing on your deen and all that.
Yeah.
And I guess with you, low key, it's like just being with like positive like role models too, and like just like tinging it like day by day and all that too, like not stressing and all that too. So
Exactly.
All right.
And the music does play a big part.
Definitely.
It's the biggest part actually.
All right. Proper. I want to speed this quick too. What are your thoughts on the Toronto accent right now? Like what you're seeing on social media and all that?
Hate it, man. Actually hate that.
Hold on. You know what? I feel like it's a gradient thing, fam. It's kind of a spectrum thing. And the reason why I say that is because like I think that there is a real Toronto accent. You know what I'm saying?
There
like when
is,
you when you
they
leave
have,
here,
what they
the
have
caricature
out there
shit is crazy.
On net is not what it is.
I feel like the caricature shit's kind of crazy, actually. I take it back because like language changes, bro. Like accents and shit morph over time. So like, maybe if I was like 13, this shit would make way more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm not, and that's not the Toronto that I know like that. You know what I'm saying? I do know a lot of people that have accents, but it's not to that capacity. You know what I'm saying? It's always like these niggas be putting like 11 exclamation marks on the shit. Like,
yeah, but it is real though. Like when we speak to the mandem, like we hear it.
I love it though. The fuck, like when you know what's crazy when you're in America and when you're in America and you haven't been home for a minute and you haven't linked with nobody from home for a minute, and then you buck up with somebody from the dot. And they're like, yo, wagwan. Is it? Yo, you feel warm,
Pretty
fam.
much. Yeah.
You feel like, yo, okay,
and
blessed.
There's like variations where it's like the same in like New York City and like Cali and Miami and all that. Then like in Toronto too, because like you're gonna get the same variation, like yo, what's up, fam, and all that too. Like you're gonna hear some like in New York too, where they're gonna say fam or wagwan, or because like you'll see it like within dialect, within culture too, because of the Caribbean populations in like New York, Miami. Probably like some of like the 7 roots like in LA and all that, UK too. So
yeah, it's so. I feel like the real Toronto accent is genuine, and I love it. Like it's exactly like okay. The caricature is based on like, and I feel like Marlon Palmer said this. You feel me? He was talking about like, bro, it's how people dead ass talking in like if you're Caribbean, it's how people talking in our homes. Like my uncles talk kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? But where we're at right now, it's like an amalgamation of different shit. Like there is a heavy African population, so we borrow words from their dialects. You know what I'm saying? Slang from the Somalis and whatever. And we all share everything because it's just that's our culture.
Yeah,
We
for
share
sure.
shit.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
Toronto, we share shit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. I fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? I like how it shaped the language because I don't really care about English like that anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to have you guys on for like a part 2 and all that too, because I know there was like a lot of questions that I had that I do wanted to ask, but I wanted to save it up like for the future and all that too. As we do have to like kind of wrap up soon and all that too. But what do you guys have like next, like for the rest of the year in terms of like any other music, creative projects, and so forth? And do you guys have any like closing remarks you'd like to say?
Dropping my solo project this summer. So
Drop the name.
it's called Days Before the Rage. Watch out for that.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking to drop a lot of new music. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with a lot of people as well. Like, yeah, we're just trying to drop as much music as possible for
Yeah,
real.
exactly.
More music. Just keep the channel wide open.
For
This
sure.
this whole year.
And more shows again, you know? Stove
Alright.
God, you feel me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And like even like free songs like off like Kuya and Bunso and all that too. Like what would you recommend from like the EP and all that? Like
You go first.
I would recommend Up Right Now, Couldn't Be Me, and what would you say? Stay Solid.
I feel like I would say I like Bright and Early. I like Bronchitis. Shout out YGX. He's nasty from the UK.
UK.
Fuck, bro. Honestly,
Up Right Now.
Up right now. I fuck with like as a definitely a daily bump that.
That's your favorite.
Yeah. Stay Solid as well. I really fuck with Stay Solid.
all right. I'll definitely like add that to my playlist and all that too, and like get people to tap that into like when they finish listening to the podcast for a bit too. But yeah, you know,